You're listening to the official podcast of Bloodstock Open Air Festival. Bloodstock Radio.
Yes, hello, good evening, and welcome to Bloodstock Radio, the official podcast of the Bloodstock Open Air Festival. My name is Squatter. This is podcast number 78, which we have finally opened up there with a brand new track from Ashbourne, and we really do have to apologise to these guys, as they originally gave us the exclusive first airplay for that track a few weeks ago, but then we missed a show due to technical issues. Then we had a Metal to the Masses backlog to deal with last week, so finally that was last year's Metal to the Masses Milton Keynes winners Ashbourne with their new track Light That Creates Darkness, and you should also check out the excellent lyric video for that by Very Metal Art. Okay, as I'm sure you will all know, with Bloodstock Festival somehow now just 5 weeks away, we are nearing the end of the Metal to the Masses Grand Finals tour, so let's catch up with a few more of our winners, both of whom were part of this week's official announcement. We will shortly hear from Saw, who won up in Manchester, but before that, we're off to have a chat to a band called Maru, and they were victorious at Metal to the Masses Merseyside.
And now on Bloodstock Radio. A Bloodstock Metal to the Masses tour update.
Okay, next up on Bloodstock Radio, we're having a chat to another of our Metal to the Masses winners. We're talking to Maru, who won up in Merseyside. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Cool, excellent. So, yeah, you guys won in Merseyside, so you're going to be playing Bloodstock. So, how's that feeling? Is it starting to sink in yet? Are you all still a little bit giddy about it all?
Well, it was a bit of a shock to actually find that people thought we were good enough to win the competition, so that bit hasn't sunk in very well. But aside from that, no, looking forward to playing the new Blood stage. Pretty excited about it. Every gig's a good gig.
Cool. Well, yes, the new Blood stage is where you are going to be. Have any of you been to Bloodstock before? Or do you know your bearings on that one?
Yeah, I know me bearings around Bloodstock, yeah. I've been a few times.
So you guys won up in Merseyside. That's Andy at Deathwave that runs them there for us at EBGBs. So tell us about how it went and why you guys entered in the first place. Really, was it just Bloodstock that you were aiming for, or was it just the gigs out of it and things like that? What was your main motivation in it?
Well, I'll be honest with you, we were casting around to get our first gig, and Andy at Deathwave is a guy that we know from the scene, obviously, and he said, I'll take a chance. I've had a listen to your Bandcamp, and he said, give it a shot, see what you think. So we decided, well, got nothing to lose and everything to gain, so we just took a shot, and that's how we ended up on the actual Bloodstock stage.
Oh, brilliant. That's good. So everyone's got their own story with it. Sometimes you get bands that have, been going for years and have taken part in Metal to the Masses for years, that have sometimes taken part in different regions or had a break from it for a few years and stuff like that. So, so everyone's got their own story. So, so you must be quite grateful for Andy for inviting you in the first place.
Oh, definitely. Very, very much so. That guy does a lot for the actual Liverpool metal scene. There's only him and another promoter, Adam, who are actually making any real differences. Everybody else has just dropped out. So, massive thanks to him for taking the chance on us. We'll repay him 100-fold for it.
I had a chance meeting with him at one of the HRH events a couple of years ago, and I realised that's who he was, and it was just when I was just starting off doing the podcast. And I said, well, you want all the Metal to the Masses people to, send in updates and stuff like that? He went, I'm not doing all that shite. I was like, okay. So fair enough then. So that didn't really happen. But this year we had Coop from the Spoken Metal Show, who I actually met at Bloodstock in the press tent at Bloodstock a couple of years ago. And he's a fellow Evertonian like me, so he got on like a house on fire. And he's been doing the updates this year. So despite Andy's can't be arsed with it, we've actually been getting updates from Merseyside this year as well. So shout out to Coop for doing them for us as well.
Yeah, Coop's a nice guy. I've loads of time for him. His podcasts are cool as well.
Yeah, he's a fantastic guy, Coop.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Spoken Metal Show. If you're listening out there in listener land, check it out and see what you think of that. So tell us a little bit about your band then. Tell us how long you've been going for, and what type of music you play and stuff like that.
Well, Maru is in our own terms is a blackened atmospheric metal. It's a bit of everything. It started out in 2015 with just a few bad thoughts and intentions in my head. I'd just left the band that I'd been in for 10 years. I formed it, got around quite a lot of places around the world with it, but walked out of that feeling quite disillusioned, didn't really get to see or do the thing they wanted to do and get the music to be right. So I just put this out there. It floated around for about a year or two, and then Chris found it along with a couple of other guys, and they got in touch with me.
One of my mates found it, said, "You've got an interest in atmospheric and black music, like metal." I was like, yeah, checked it out. It was like really rough, basic sound and recordings at first. And I was like, no, I could run with that. So messaged Andy and was like, do you need a vocalist? Got talking from there, because that's like black metal and atmospheric music's like my passion. I'd always wanted to be in a band that could do that kind of thing on stage. So
the other thing to note with Maru is that Maru is not any particular style. We're striving to be quite nebulous in the way we approach music as a whole. The idea is just to put down heavy, fast riffs as well as atmosphere, and just literally hopefully get that head banging for you.
Well, that should probably work well in a tent then, in the New Blood tent. You get the old sort of bit of darkness in there and that. So tell our listeners why they should be checking you guys out. What can they expect from a Maru live show?
Well, from a Maru live show, you can expect atmosphere, nasty riffs, basically just good, hard, atmospheric metal, really.
Cool. That sounds good. So, well, hopefully we'll get you a few people into the tent there as well. Then, are there any bands that are playing over the weekend at Bloodstock at the moment that you're hoping you don't clash with, or that you're particularly looking forward to seeing?
I've got many bands I'm looking forward to seeing. Rotten Christ, Dimmu. Dimmu are actually the one I don't want to clash with, because I'm assuming that a lot of people that might want to come and stumble across the New Blood stage might want to go and watch Dimmu instead of us.
Yeah.
I normally at Bloodstock just wander around and watch as many bands as possible, even if I've not heard of them before. I just stand around and watch them. It's the best way to find new music. Yeah,
absolutely it is. Yeah, that's what we find as well. We had Sakis from Rotting Christ on the podcast a few months ago, and he was an absolutely great guy. I must admit, I'm a thrash fan, so the black metal and that sort of thing's not really my thing. But I really like what I heard from them, and I definitely like what I heard from him. Really interesting, intelligent guy. And I don't know. You sometimes think, obviously when you hear a band name like Rotting Christ, you're sort of thinking, well, what's this guy all about? But he was brilliant. He was really, really good, and I'm definitely going to check their set out.
Yeah, and I've seen Rotten Christ a few times. Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. So what about you then, Andy? Which bands are you looking forward to?
Rotten Christ for definite. I'll be checking out a lot of the other bands on the New Blood stage, and I'll definitely be in the Sophie tent for most of it, because that seems to be more my bag. But aside from that, I'll probably be over the main stage for a few bands. Haven't got any real picks that I picked out, so I'll be floating around seeing what takes me fancy.
Cool. Sounds like a good plan. Well, we do Bloodstock TV at the festival as well, and so if you see us when you're wandering around in the press tent, then we might be able to have a chat with you there as well. So that might be good.
Yeah,
that'd be fantastic.
All right, well, cheers for chatting to us, guys, and congratulations on getting to Bloodstock. So we're going to hear one of your songs now, Ogarn Maru, which is Welsh, and I can, do the accent a little bit. So, one of you introduce this for us. I will just give you a bit of a plug that this is off a 3-track EP that's on your Bandcamp, which is maru.bandcamp.com. That is MARW. And it's one of those name your price things, listeners, but make sure that you throw them a few quid anyway, because we know we should always do that, don't we? So, off you go, guys. Just introduce that song for us.
This is Maru with Ogarn Maru.
To
Okay, next up on Bloodstock Radio, we're talking to the next of our Metal to the Masses winners, and up in Manchester, the winners were Saw. How you doing, guys?
Hello, we're good. Yeah, we're good. How about yourself?
I am very well indeed, thank you. We are fast approaching Bloodstock now, just a few weeks away, so you guys haven't got long to wait until you're going to be stepping out on the New Blood stage. So how's that sounding?
It's insane. I mean, it was last Sunday when we got when we found out, and we still can't really quite believe it.
Yeah, it's not quite sunk in yet. I mean, I've been to Bloodstock before to see Gojira, and now, like, the year after, being able to play the same festival is just crazy. So, yeah, it's not quite sunk in, but it's going to be ace.
Yeah, because I saw you guys at the final last year. I wasn't able to make it to the final this year, sadly. So I saw you guys at the final last year when Barbarian Hermit went through, and I was obviously there with Simon, and it was a very, very close run thing. Then the quality was sky high. So you must have been delighted to get through this time.
Yeah, well, we've had quite a history with the competition now. Really, this is our third year in a row going at it. So yeah, we got knocked out in the first year, and then we made the final last year, and as you said, we lost out to Barbarian Hermit, who were insane.
It's a running theme every year at Manchester. It's always been stiff competition. There's always been amazing bands in the final, and even leading up, like, all the rounds, it's always been, you know, some other amazing band that we get to play with. So yeah, it's really great process to go through, like, the whole competition.
Yeah, I always find that there's a really good buzz at Manchester, and particularly at Rebellion. That's probably my favourite venue in Manchester, because obviously these Metals of the Masses, they're not just about the bands; it's also about the venues and promoters and trying to make sure that keep these venues open, because we're already hearing we lost a Metals of the Masses venue last year. We've got a couple of them that this year are being threatened as well. So keeping places open and keeping things about. So what's your history with Rebellion? You like playing there?
Yeah, we've played Rebellion loads of times, and every time we play there, it's fantastic. And I think the good thing about, in particular, the Metal to the Masses nights there, is to keep it free of charge. And the amount of people that probably just brings in off the street, that are just passing by and thinking, oh, I wonder what's going on in there. And it just always drags in a massive crowd for it, especially the Metal to the Masses nights.
Yeah, I remember when they first when they moved it to Rebellion, they did that big launch party, like a free launch party, inviting all the bands that are going to be competing, and then they do the draw to work out who's going to be in the heats and stuff like that. And it all makes it much more of a sort of spectacle and get everyone sort of involved with it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. It gets the crowd and the bands all involved before the competition even kicks off, and that's just a really, really good way to do it.
Yeah, and obviously you usually get some sort of past winners taking part in it as well, so you can all see the standards. I say standards. Footprints in the Custard are usually involved, and they've got no standards whatsoever. But you sort of see the level that you all sort of need to be at before you're sort of starting off the competition. So I think it really works well that way. And I say obviously all the regions are run differently. They all run in their own different way. But I really like the way that Manchester's run and the way that it all sort of goes together.
Yeah, and that's down to everyone, the people that run Rebellion and the people that run the specific Metal to the Masses nights as well. They just keep it very simple and very professional, and every night's gone off without a hitch, really.
Yeah, I think they've always been thinking about how to better that place as a venue. Even recently, they moved the bar to the back so that there was more space for bands gear and just for people to watch, chill and watch the bands as well. They've really got a really nice setup at Rebellion, and it just makes such a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been to some great nights there. I said one of the weirdest ones I remember a few years ago, or the most unexpected ones that I had, was because they usually have the club nights on afterwards. I went to see Acid Rain, and I think Zentrix were there as well. But it was one of these where it was sort of an early start, early finish, because they had a club night on afterwards at 11, so they wanted to clear everyone out. So we're getting all the gear out, and we're chatting around, and I'm doing my interviews and that, and then we noticed that the stuff that was going up was not a club night. It was like a fetish night. They had all sorts of sort of leather gear and whips and chains and stuff like that coming out, and I was just sort of can we stay?
We would like to be a part of it.
Yeah, we're all right with this. Do we have to pay to get back in, or we? So they do a wide and varied things on at Rebellion.
They're not afraid to try something different.
No, absolutely cool.
You've got to be a successful venue these days. You've got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, so you mentioned, one of you said earlier on that you've been to Bloodstock before. So, how's it feeling that you're actually going to be playing there now? And are any bands that are playing this year that you're particularly hoping that you don't clash with, that you really want to see?
I've already said if we play at the same time as Code Orange, I'm on the edge of boycotting my own set. So yeah, Code Orange,
Tesseract,
big fans. Tesseract, yeah.
They're the big two for us, Code Orange and Tesseract.
Well, what you need to do is you need to basically get your wireless that's got a huge range, and that way you could actually get to the back of the crowd at the main stage, and that'll still reach to the New Blood, I reckon. You probably get along with that. So as long as you get some in-ear monitors so that you can hear what's going on, you'll be fine.
We could join in with a hardcore pitting in Code Orange whilst playing our set.
Exactly, that sounds good. So tell us a little bit about the band then. So you're called SAW, which is SAURR for those people that are going to try and go and have a look for you now. So tell us a bit about the type of music that you play, how long you've been going for, and stuff like that.
Well, we kind of just brand ourselves as alternative metal. To be honest, we find that's the easiest way to just kind of bunch everything in.
It's difficult. I don't know. I guess we just leave it up to the people that's listening to decide what sort of genre it is, but I don't know, because we don't really think a lot about other bands when we write stuff. I guess the only overbearing influence that we can't get away from is Gojira, because three of us are like huge fans of Gojira.
Why would you want to get away from Gojira ever?
Exactly, they're masters of what they do, and like I guess the elements of what they put in their music is what we would like to put in ours. So not necessarily like the actual, riffs that they write in terms of like what notes they use or anything, but it's more like the feel that they create that we would like to put in our music. So like the emotion and like the atmosphere.
Yeah, I get exactly what you mean with that. I mean, we had Gojira, as you said, as headliners last year, and I was fortunate enough to actually get an interview with them. So I interviewed Joe for Bloodstock TV at the festival, and the reason I do this is that I'm not a musician. I have no musical ability whatsoever. That's why I just talk. But my camera guy there is a guitarist, and I was saying to him as we were preparing for the interview, I said to him, the way you can always sort of tell that a Gojira song is a Gojira song, even before you've even heard him singing or anything. They've just got a sound that's a Gojira song. You can just tell. And I said, do you think if I ask him how they do that, he'll be able to explain it? Because as I say, as a non-muso, I'm just thinking, is he A, going to want to tell me, or is he B, going to be able to tell me? And I threw it in at the end, and he did. He explained it. So as and when that comes out, we've already sent it over to Bloodstock. So that interview with Joe should be going out there on Bloodstock TV at some point. But yeah, he was absolutely amazing. Really sort of down to earth and really cool. So and as we're speaking here today, they're just recovering from playing Glastonbury last night. So that's another Gojira at Glastonbury. I've been telling all my hippie mates to go and watch them.
I saw them pop up on the lineup, and I had to double take. I was like, "What, really?"
Yeah.
But that's a fantastic thing for Glastonbury to be kind of putting metal on the main stages.
Yeah, well, exactly. We had, I think Napalm Death were there. I think it was last year or the year before, because Russ Russell, the producer, we've had him on the show, and he's a good mate of mine. So, and he went there to do their sound for them and that, and he said it was just incredible. He said you had a real mixture of people that were obviously metal fans and that sort of knew what they were doing, but you had a lot of sort of, well, I suppose you'd call them Glastonbury types, where you're sort of thinking, oh, this looks like jolly good fun. Let's have a look. What are these guys doing? And then you just get them, whoa, and oh my god.
So what is going on?
So yeah, but I was telling my friends that were there that Gojira are a lot more accessible. I mean, I think they're certainly one of the most relevant and just amazing live bands around at the moment. So yeah, I told people to go. So hopefully a few of my mates went and watched it last night anyway.
Yeah, hope so. They would have put on a great show, I'm sure.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, well, so just quickly before we go finish off with some of your music, could you just tell our listeners? Obviously, this is all about basically getting people to come and see you. So just tell them what they can expect from a SAW show. Why should they stick you on their Clash Finder and come over and see you guys on the New Blood stage this year?
Well, it's just going to be all out, 100% to the wall energy, performance, wall of sound right up in your face. You're not going to be able to get away from us once we're on that stage. It's just going to be balls to the wall. We're not going to leave anything out there, so it's going to be special. It is going to be special. If you're into your big riffs, your big choruses, big breakdowns, we're the ones to come and see, definitely.
Excellent. That sounds good. Good. Well, hopefully we get a few in the tent for you. So we're going to hear your song Spew now, and I'll just give you a quick plug for that. So this is off your self-titled EP. from 2016, and you can get this over at Bandcamp. This is sawmusic.bandcamp.com for just a measly £3 of your English pounds. So, if you like the sound of this, folks, then get yourselves over there and throw a few quid in the direction of the lads. And I believe you're also working on a new EP at the moment, yeah?
Yeah, another EP on the way, so it's like 90% recorded, and then it just needs mixing and mastering, and then bam, another EP on the Bandcamp.
Yeah, later this year we should be expecting to release that.
Cool. Well, if you can get it out before Bloodstock, it's probably a little bit tight for that, but always helps.
We can try our best.
We're trying.
Yeah. It always helps if you've got new stuff out there to sort of give out to people and that lot. But just make sure that I'm sure you've already got plans in the works for getting your name out there. Metal to the Masses bands have constantly come up with inventive ways of promoting their set and letting people know what time they're going to be on the New Blood. So get yourselves thinking about that. And everyone, there's 31 of you this year, so there's an awful lot of Metal to the Masses bands. But you need to let people know where you're going to be and stuff like that. So make sure you get that planned.
Yes, we'll get creative.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, cheers for chatting to us, guys, and congratulations on making it to Bloodstock.
Hey, no worries. It's been a pleasure. It's been really good.
Okay, that was the guys from Saw, and this is their song, Spew.
zest. You're listening to Bloodstock Radio.
Okay, so that was our Metal to the Masses winners, Saw and Maru from Manchester and Merseyside respectively, and we're going to have one of our European Metal to the Masses winners on later to finish off the show, so stick around for that. But as mentioned earlier, we are now somehow just 5 weeks away from Bloodstock, and if you have any questions that you want answering, or even if you just want to watch some chair gymnastics, then tune into the very last Facebook Live session before the festival with Adam and Vicky, and that is happening tomorrow night. That's Friday, July the 5th at 7 p.m. And I can also tell you that Bloodstock 2019 VIP tickets have now sold out. And if you haven't got your standard camping ticket yet, then you should head on over to the Bloodstock website and join us for the best weekend of the year. Okay, next up on Bloodstock Radio, we're going to play you a couple of new releases from Bloodstock Double Alumni. Yes, that's a term I've just invented for bands that have played Bloodstock twice. So firstly, we're going to have the band that opens this podcast every week with our intro music. That is Eradicator, and they have sent over the first single from their upcoming new album, Obscura, which you may recall I got a sneak preview of with the band at Russ Russell's Parlour Studios last year, and it sounded absolutely fantastic. So that is going to be released just a week before Bloodstock with an album launch party on Sunday, August the 3rd at the Birmingham O2 Institute, along with bands such as Harken and Dekesis. And they will also soon be launching a Kickstarter campaign, so keep an eye out for that. Plus, we've also been sent a brand new track from the Irish band Dead Label, who I'm sure a lot of you will have seen at Bloodstock both times they've played, and let me tell you, they have had quite a week of it. But I'll tell you all about that after these brand new tracks. First up, it's Eradicator with Poison to Sorrow, and then Dead Label with Triggered.
And now on Bloodstock Radio. It's time to hear some new releases.
Oi, oi, this is Crusher, and you're listening to Bloodstock Radio. It rocks hard, it rocks heavy, and most of all, it rocks animal.
Okay, that was Eradicator with Poison to Sorrow, which you can actually get to download now if you pre-order their new album Obscura. And then we had Dead Label, and as I said before that, they have had quite a week. So they were actually the beneficiaries from the sad news that Black Peaks had to pull out of the 3 shows supporting Gojira last weekend, and apparently Dead Label only found out on Sunday morning that they were wanted to support Gojira on both Sunday night in London and Manchester on Monday. So, of course, they got straight on a plane, jumped at the chance, and well done to them. And thanks to Tom Brumpton from Polymath for popping that track over to us. I did also mention briefly earlier that we've had some more bands announced this week, so let me quickly rattle through those so we're all up to date. So firstly, on the Jaeger stage, on Friday we got my lovely mates and my stunt double Dave in Eyes of the Raven, along with something a little bit different, a spoken word artist called Sophie Sparham. Then on Saturday we have Daybreaker and Victus. Then moving on to the New Blood stage, on Friday we have Metal to the Masses winners Saw and Maru that we just heard from earlier, Widows who we had on last week, plus Tomorrow is Lost and Pravitas, both of whom we are yet to speak to. On Saturday we have Northampton winners Reaper X and the awesomely named Goat Monsoon, who won in Essex. And then moving on to the Sunday we have the Polish winners Sethiest and Norway winners Golden Core, who we'll be talking to in just a minute. And we had 2 guest bands announced, that was Damim and Fallen Temples. Okay, as I just said, to finish off tonight's show, we've got one last Metal to the Masses interview for you with our Norway winners, Golden Core. And if you're looking for our Metal to the Masses gigs this weekend, Simon will be in Cheltenham tomorrow night. That is Friday the 5th. Then on Saturday, he's in Bristol, while Rob covers the London final, which I'm absolutely gutted I won't be at because my beloved Suma are guest headliners. And then Simon, and possibly Rob as well, based on past years, will be in Birmingham on Sunday. So that is 4 Metal to the Masses finals this weekend, and that will leave us with just one left to go, and that is in Bridgewater next Saturday, July the 13th. Okay, so let's finish off with our Norway winners, Golden Core, who I suspect might well surprise a few people at Bloodstock this year. We'll see you next time on podcast number 79 of Bloodstock Radio.
And now on Bloodstock Radio, a Metal to the Masses winners interview.
Next up on Bloodstock Radio, we're talking to the next of our Metal to the Masses finalists, and it's our winners from Norway, and it's Golden Core, and we're talking to Johannes Thor. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good, excellent. I've probably just mangled your name completely, so my Norwegian is not as good as your English is, my friend, but we'll stumble on with it and see how we get on. So, so you guys recently won the Metal to the Masses in Norway, so congratulations. You're going to be coming over to Bloodstock.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. Fucking Bloodstock. That's insane.
Well, that's what we want to ask you about, because I have no idea how big Bloodstock's name is around Europe and how well known it is in Norway or in Europe in general. So tell me what your knowledge is of Bloodstock, and I can tell from how excited you are that it obviously means a lot to you, but just try to tell us a bit about that and how well known it is.
I mean, it's England's biggest metal festival. The home of metal. Yeah. And I think that says a lot about it.
So, have you taken part in the Metal to the Masses before? Is this the first day that you've done it? Or?
No, it's the first time.
Because we have actually moved this year, because we were out in, again, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, Sandnes. I don't know how that's pronounced.
Sandnes, yeah.
All right, cool. So we've been out there, and then we've moved to Oslo, the capital, this year, which was a really big thing for us as well. So how did you find out about Metal to the Masses, and why did you decide to get involved?
So someone contacted us and asked, "Do you want to play?" And we said yes. If you
Cool. So tell us a bit about Golden Core, the band, then. Tell us, because I believe there's only 2 of you, so tell us a little bit about the type of music that you play and how long you guys have been going for.
Yeah, I mean, we play kind of a few different genres. We take from what we think are cool, but mainly like stoner doom. And yeah, it's correct. It's only the 2 of us. Seaman, the guitarist, he uses like 2 amps and a bass stack to fill in the bass sound. So even though it's only 1 guitar, it sounds really, really heavy. And so he does kind of the guitar and bass in one.
Okay.
And then I does the drums and the singing. So we kind of fill in all the jobs just us 2, and it works for us. That's like how we have done it all the time. So for us, it's like normal.
Well, that's it. So it's not something where, you've tried to find a guitarist or you've tried to find a vocalist or something. You've just decided just going with it. Or
when we began at the start, then we tried one person and it didn't really work. So we've just stuck to us 2 from then. Haven't really tried anyone else. And now we have like discussed it and decided like, okay, Golden Core, that's us 2. And if we want to play in bands with other people, we simply start a new band.
Sounds like a good plan.
That's our plan, because it worked the way we do it now.
Okay, cool. And I believe the 2 of you are quite young as well, considering you're going to be coming over to England to play in a festival. So I don't really want to go on about it. We've had a few bands over the last couple of years. We had Alien Weaponry that came over last year, and I think there's only 3 of them, and they were 18, 16, and 16. And then we had another band, another Metal to the Masses winners last year, called Etherfield, and they were 18, 16 and 14, and I think their 14-year-old drummer, was the youngest person to play at Bloodstock. So, how old are you guys?
I mean, I'm 17 and the guitarist is 14.
There you go.
So
you're equaling the record then, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, the guitar player even though he's like 14, he has played guitar in maybe 10 years.
Right.
So he started very young, and just about the same with me, 8-9 years drumming.
Well, that's the thing. When you hear the young age, it's exactly the same with the Alien Weaponry guys. When they hit big and they came over, everyone was like, "Oh my God, look at these young guys!" But again, they've been doing gigs for like 8, 9, 10 years. So if you've got that sort of behind you, then it's just natural to you.
Yeah, I mean, we've started the band in like 5.5 years. I mean, it's the second time we come to the UK this year.
All right, okay. So you've been over here before then? When was that?
We played at the Scala on Euronoise.
All right, brilliant.
So, and we won.
Oh, very good. So that's I don't know. Is that another Battle of the Bands thing? Is it?
Yeah, and that's where people. I think it was 11 bands from around Europe, and who competed at the Scala in London.
Yeah.
And it was broadcasted live and everything, and so people voted, and we won.
Excellent, that's brilliant. That's really good.
So it's cool to come back again.
Yeah, cool. Well, it will be good. I mean, do you go to festivals over there? I don't know off the top of my head of any Norwegian metal festivals, but I assume there are some.
Yeah, we play at BOA Festival. That's a festival in Norway, and we're gonna play a few different ones. I can't tell you about everything.
Yeah, that's fine.
Kinda, because it isn't announced yet. But yeah.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to hear some of your music now, so we can let people know what to expect. So just give a little bit of a big yourselves up a little bit, really. If anyone's thinking about maybe coming to see you, before they hear this song, they might like the sound of it, but what are they going to get from a Golden Core show? Why should they come and see you guys?
Why should they come and see us? It's hard to say from like a band perspective because I don't really stand in the crowd. But it seems like almost every new place we come to, people like are amazed. Anyway, when we stand on stage, we just can look out in the crowd and look people in the eyes, and it's really people like look shocked when we first start. And we often play loud.
Yeah.
Really, really, really loud. So it's just the two of us, plus we like have a lot of bass frequencies. So you like feel it in your stomach when all the power is in. You should like feel it. Boof.
That sounds good enough to me. I think that's going to get you a few people in the tent straight away.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll hear a song from you now, so you can introduce it, because I'll probably muller the thing, but I believe it's called Blod. Is that right?
Yep, Blod. We sing in Old Norse.
Wow. Okay, is that all your songs? Are all your songs in?
Yeah, basically all our songs is in Old Norse. When we started, we was just an instrumental band, and then we have made like 3 songs in English, and the rest is Old Norse.
Well, people will have to get up on that then. We had, as I say, Alien Weaponry last year. They sing in Maori, so a lot of people were getting on with that. But, hey, if Rammstein can get away with singing German for 25 years, then I guess you guys can get away with singing Norse. Okay, well, cheers for talking to us, and we look forward to seeing you at Bloodstock.
Yep, we're ready.
Okay, well, let's hear that song then. This is Blod.
fans, for the fans. Bloodstock Radio.